He's taken more than 600 wickets in Test cricket. It's the only Englishman with 2 Test hat-tricks to his name. And joining us now, a man who knows him better than anyone. Wonderful former England batsman and the father of Stuart Broad. Chris Broad is with us. How you doing, Chris?
Good morning, Chris.
I'm well, thanks, guys. That was an interesting tribute, and particularly Swanee saying at the end, "He's big, he's bad, he's better than his dad." I've heard that song so many times, and I would just like to say, on the cricket field, yes; off the cricket field, no.
I would say you make a better opening batsman than the Stuart
Yes.
Broad. But how emotional a moment will it be for your family today?
I think the last couple of days have been quite emotional. He phoned us on Saturday morning to say that he'd come to a decision on Friday night that he was going to announce his retirement. We'd heard about it. We'd had discussions about it throughout the year, but he also, halfway through the series, said that actually he was enjoying it so much that he's having second thoughts. But when he phoned us on Saturday morning and said that now was the time that he was going to announce his retirement, and the reasons that he gave, you can't argue against it. It was absolutely the right thing. And I actually messaged him later on that evening on the Saturday night to say, have you any regrets? Because often, sometimes you make a decision and then you start thinking, oh, have I done the right thing? He said, absolutely not. It's no regrets whatsoever. So, good on him, really.
I wanted to ask you, do you think Stuart's batting is underrated because he has the 5th most sixes in the history of Test cricket for England batsmen?
Yeah, he ended his career with a 6 at the Oval yesterday as well, which was fantastic. But I think when he got hit in the face by the Indian bowler in Manchester some years ago, that affected his confidence in being able to play the ball. And of course, when an opposition sees a weakness in a player, whether it's batting or bowling, they will go hell for leather to try and get to that weakness. And obviously, bowling a short ball and then a Yorker ball at him has been the way to get him out. And he's, as a batting father, I've looked at him and offered him my assistance, and he's just turned around to me and said, "I'm a bowler, Dad. I'm not interested in batting any longer." So it's a shame that he didn't work at it because he could have made more runs. But listen, 167 Test matches, 600 international wickets. It's a phenomenal achievement.
It is. And just to put that into perspective, that's more sixes in Test cricket than Ian Bell, Marcus Trescothick and Joe Root, which is, when you throw names like that in, it's exceptional. His batting ability, I don't think, should be underestimated. But I understand what you're saying about that moment he was hit in the head. In terms of bowling, I saw the bit with a piece with Alistair Cook in the Sunday Times yesterday saying that when he took him for a double 100 at schoolboy level, and back then he was a batsman who bowled a bit. So did you ever think that his bowling would go to the level that it has?
No, I didn't. Quite honestly, he was a batsman coming through schoolboy levels, and he bowled a little bit. And personally, as a father, obviously you want your kids to do as well as they possibly can. But I looked at him and said, I don't think he's got the ability to be a batsman at county level. But fair play to Leicestershire. They saw him more as a bowler than a batsman and offered him a contract. And he just blossomed. He really did. And I think also he went to a place called Hoppers Crossing just outside of Melbourne to play in their league cricket when he was just 17. And he went over really as a schoolboy, but I saw him at Christmas time when I was over there doing my role as a referee, and he had changed significantly. He was playing against men. They were giving him abuse because he found out whose son he was. And of course, they hated me for scoring some runs against Australia. And he just grew. He had to grow. He either had to grow or he faded away. And he definitely grew. And he learned how to give it back, and also the competitive nature that he's had throughout his career.
So let's talk about how you see that career. How proud are you of the career that he's had?
Oh, listen, you heard all the guys before I came on saying what a legend he's been and how well he's done. I can't add anything to that. He has been I mean, it's astonishing what has happened, that you get two bowlers who have played over 160 Test matches for England. As I said, all bowlers bowl with some kind of ailment, whether it's a toe that's bleeding or a dodgy back or a strain in the knee or something. They will all go and bowl and bowl and bowl and then get treatment at the end of the day. And as a professional sportsman, you have to go through those sorts of things. But 167 Test matches, to continually strap on those boots and go out and play is just a phenomenal feat. And I think he deserves to put his feet up for a few months now and just recover and then come back next year.
And I think one of the things that I've found talking to players who've played with him, particularly at Test level over the years, is what a good teammate he is, not just by being good in the dressing room or being a nice guy or whatever it might be, but actually out on the pitch when a team needs a lift. Stuart Broad and the aura that he brings sometimes, the way he lifts his own game, lifts his own bowling, sometimes lifts his own batting, that can lift all of those around him. That's a special quality to have.
It absolutely is. And I think you've seen in the last few years where he's been able to rev up the crowd and get the Barmy Army going. I think he speaks volumes about the help that the Barmy Army have given to the whole of the England team, both here in this country and overseas. They have been an amazing support for the England team over a number of years, and I think he will miss that side of it. But listen, there are going to be a number of things that he's going to miss. But he's got a young family now. He wants to see them more often, just be a father, and also look to another career as well. So I think it's absolutely the right time to make this decision, and we all wish him well in what happens.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a final question, Chris. Let's list some of the amazing moments, truly amazing moments of his career, right? Trent Bridge 2015, 8 for 15 was incredible. Ashes 5 for the Oval in 2009, hat-trick against India at Trent Bridge 2011. Ashes winning spell at Durham in 2013, I particularly like. The spell of 6 for 17 in Johannesburg in 2016. Bowling masterclasses, but how close were you to tears with any of those? Which one was most emotional for you?
I noticed you didn't mention the 169 that he got at Lord's as a batter.
I'm waiting for you to do that.
That for me, funnily enough, I wasn't there. I was doing some work for ICCs overseas, but I kept getting text messages as he got closer and closer and closer to the 100. And that for me, as a batter myself, to get 100 was fantastic. I'm mortified that he actually went past my highest score, because he just keeps ribbing me about that. But the fact that he was able to get 100 at Lord's and his name is on the board, on the batting board as well as on the bowling board a number of times is terrific. And listen, all those moments of taking wickets in spells, and they often came in groups of 3 or 4 wickets at a time. They've all been massively brilliant at encouraging the team, the country, and his performance. So, all of those put together have just been a phenomenal career, really.
Chris, really appreciate you taking time. Great to speak to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
and pass on our best to Stuart as well.
Yeah, will do. Thank you very much.
Top man.
Wonderful. Chris Broad, a brilliant opening batsman in his time. And then his son Stuart comes along, and you'll know what he did.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.